represent a company called Genos. Genos is a South Korean company. They were established in 2004. They focus a lot on medical devices. They're very focused on R&D, developing their research. They have great people working in their research department, and they're always looking for solutions for treatments that are difficult, and also their focus, the main focus is being innovative and coming up with new medical devices always. And the great thing about them is that they're very high, they value quality, so they're very specific, and they make sure that the standards meet the quality of the KGMP, the ISO 13485 and ISO 9001. All their products are CE and Korean FDA approved. So just a bit of a history about the company. It was set up in, as I mentioned, 2004, but it was in 2010 when they started to develop products. So as you can see, as I mentioned before, it was the main focus is medical devices, like collagen membrane stents, balloon catheters. 2012, I thought this was quite interesting, just to point out that they brought out this maxillofacial plate, because I have a plate in my jaw. I actually had an accident, a car accident, and so I have one of those. So I thought it was interesting that they actually manufacture those. But then in 2014, as you can see, that's when they had the Korean FDA approval for the filler, and then they had the CE marking approval in 2015, and then yeah, so that's where we're at the moment.
What is a cage? I can say cage. What do I mean by cage?
That's the Korean, the cage.
What's a cage? I know it's a cage, but what does that mean, the integral cervical cage?
I think it's, if you fracture your backbone and...
Yes, it's a cage and put bone inside or what?
Honestly, I don't know, because these are medical devices that are used in surgery. I don't know. I'm not a surgeon.
No, because I am surprised now by cage. I think it's probably a cage, but maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. But this is just to show that the background is not cosmetics. The background is more medical, So you can tell that, if they're focusing more on medical devices, then whatever they're going to manufacture in terms of fillers is going to be high quality. This is just to prove that. So, so they have 3 types. So all of them are the same concentration. So they're 20 milligrams per ml. All of them the same concentration, as you can see. And that's the same concentration sort of around, in the market. Most of them are about that much. Juvederm, the same TSR, they're about 20, 23, 24, maximum 25 milligrams. The difference in them is the micrometers, the size of the particles. So, as you can see, the soft one is the smallest, and then you've got mild and you've got the hard, because that's how they create volume. So based on, the way it works, if you want to know a little bit about how fillers work. So the hyaluronic acid is cross-linked, with something called VDDs, and that helps the hyaluronic acid to stay in the tissue. And the amount of cross-linking sort of reflects the longevity of the filler. So with this one is also, they call it hyper-cross-linked, so it has a little bit more cross-linking just to allow it to stay in the tissue for a bit longer. And also, so the particle size, like I mentioned, that's how you get the different types create different amount of volume, so you can use it in various parts of the face. Now, what differentiates this filler compared to other fillers in the market is that they, again, because it's made with, it's made at a company that is, they focus on medical devices, they are very strict on quality. So they make sure the actual process of the hyaluronic acid. So I don't know how much you know about the actual manufacture of the actual powder, the gel that's in the filler. So it comes from bacteria, and you have to actually ferment the bacteria, and then you purify it, and then you end up with a powder, and then that powder is made into a gel. So this process is actually done in the US under very strict conditions, and Genos actually works very closely with the manufacturer to make sure the hyaluronic acid powder at the end is very, very pure. So they make sure that there's no BDD residues, and they make sure that there's no bacterial contaminants.
Yeah? So the cultivation is from bacteria?
All hyaluronic acid is always from bacteria.
Do you have an idea which kind of bacteria?
I don't know what kind of bacteria, but at the moment that's how you make it.
So it's a bacterial origin?
It's a bacterial origin, but that's what I mean, because you can't, at the moment they don't synthetically manufacture. That's how all of the fillers in the market are made.
Ah.
Yeah, that's how they get all of them. That's why some of them, so you see here, you have these standards for all filler types. So the BDD residue has to be less than 2 parts per million, and then it has to make sure that, so all the fillers in the market must meet this standard, yeah? But also sometimes what you find with the fillers is that you also get some bacterial remnants as well, sometimes, so they're not completely cured yet, and that can cause immune reactions, that can cause a lot of inflammation, and also especially also with Juvenile, you do get a lot of swelling, and that's sometimes because of these. But the good thing with this is that, you see, when you actually compare it with the standard, you don't get any BDD residue, so it's completely pure, and it meets all the pH, and you see there's nothing, it passes meets the standard in terms of whatever impurities there is. And another good thing about this is that all the particles are exactly the same size, so that's really important, because when you actually inject fillers, you want to create uniform volume, yeah? You don't want, sometimes you find that as you inject, sometimes you get a little bit of volume, then nothing, then volume, you know, it's sort of, sometimes it can be like that, but with this one, because all the particles exactly are the same size, you just get really nice linear volume, and also they all degrade at the same rate because they're all the same. Because sometimes some fillers, they may contain different size particles, and so parts of it degrades much quicker than other parts, you know. And sometimes you get, especially let's say with cheeks, if you do the cheeks, a bit of it might, you know, have already gone down, whereas you get more volume on one side. So sometimes that happens, but with this you won't get that. Now the fact that it's all uniform and the particles are all the same size, that also helps with the elasticity and viscosity. So, so they've done the study with they're comparing it with a competitor in the market, and they find that actually the elasticity and viscosity are a bit higher. So when the elasticity and viscosity is a little bit higher, it means that it's more of a gel-like. It sits really nicely in the tissue, and it creates more volume. So these are some clinical cases. So as you can see, the before and after comparing it, this is basically looking at the nasolabial. Nasolabial is like almost gone there, and here as well. The nasolabial looks really nice. And this is in men again, the before and after, same person, the whole thing. And again, the nasolabial, you can see it's a really good difference. I think the best thing about this is that after the procedure, there's very little inflammation, very little swelling. You get a really nice volume. So in summary, again, for people who came late, so basically there's 3 pillars. So again, the company is Genus, it's manufactured in South Korea. The actual hyaluronic acid is made in US, but it's packaged in South Korea. The company focuses on medical devices, so they're very medical based. They have high, strict quality control. So there's 3 types, there's soft, mild, and hard. The soft one is very good for fine lines. So if you're doing fillers and you want to do, this is, to be honest with you, I've tried every single filler in the market for fine lines, and this is the best. It comes with a 27 gauge needle. But if you use it with a 30, I used it with the needle it came, and it creates more volume than actually getting rid of the fine line. If you use it with a 30 gauge, I'm telling you, it's like magic. It just gets rid of the fine lines like that, and it's gone. I think it's like the best. But I think with the 30 gauge, you have to push it a little bit because it creates a lot of volume. But if you use it with maybe the 29 gauge, then it's absolutely perfect. With the mild one, you can use everywhere on the face, the cheeks, the nasolabial, the lips, really good volume. And then with the hard one is, I would just use it in the cheeks, and it gives you really good, and the good thing is that there's no migration, so it doesn't, it just sits on the bone, and then because the problem with fillers is that when you inject it in the cheeks, sometimes it sort of, as you sleep, it sort of can move and it can push the filler. So with this one, it just sits because it's quite hard. Thank you. If you have any questions, just email me. That's my email address if you want to invite me to Egypt.
YouGlo company.
Yeah, info@youglo.co.uk.
YouGlo is your family name?
No, this is my clinic name.
Your clinic name?
Yeah.
It sounds Turkish, YouGlo.
Yeah, but it's, yeah. So I'll just give you